Welcome, folks. This is something I've never done before, brand new. You are listening to The Jake Ellenbogen Show. The Jake Ellenbogen Show is a new experience if you are a fan of myself. It is going to be me in an unfiltered state, talking about sports and entertainment, no politics, and just whatever's on my mind, folks, whatever's on my mind. So for those of you who haven't, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. Be sure to hit up my YouTube channel. If you are a Rams fan, I have a Rams YouTube channel. Most of you have probably come over from there, but if you have not, there you go. All right, let's get into it, because what is on my mind, man? What are we talking about? Of course, you know what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about fan hatred. We're going to be talking about dealing with haters and kind of whatever I want to talk about. So let me just start off by just explaining, if you're new here, obviously you're new because it's the first episode. But if you don't know, I'm a huge Rams fan. But I'm a Rams analyst, and some would say I'm the number one Rams YouTuber outside of the Rams themselves. And the Rams unfortunately lost in their playoff return last night to the Detroit Lions by a score of 24-23. There were a lot of different things that went down, and not really talking too much about the game because this is a different type of show. But to make a long story short, a co-host of mine on my Downtown Rams podcast, Alexis Kraft, is now receiving death threats from the Detroit Lions fans, who, by the way, won the game. They actually won. I don't know why they're acting like that. And I can't even make a post about me playing, like the fucking golf simulator without, Lions fans being in my mentions and calling me fat and whatever. And you know what? Here's the deal. I don't really care. Because you get to a point where you just kind of realize you're bigger than all that. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's gotten to that point where I'm starting to realize, hey, I didn't know we would get here as quick as we did. But I mean, I'm at the point where now the conversation is, okay, he made it. I'm getting that in my, my comments in response. I am at that point where people are going to make, Photoshops about me. I gotta live with that. I gotta understand that. Comes with the territory. You can't just dive right into content creation and expect that everyone's going to love you. Hell no. There's not a single chance. There's no scenario in the entire world where 100% of the world's population loves you. And you have to be able to fight through that. And it's not easy. Obviously, you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I deal with depression and anxiety. Obviously, getting hate all the time and, death threats and all of that, even though it comes with the territory, doesn't exactly help all of that. However, I had to deal with that at my last job before I was able to start doing my dream job. Worked in a call center, for those of you who don't know, a little background, doing window shades. Hated it, absolutely hated it. I had some great people I worked with, but God, it was the worst. I mean, there's nothing just like sitting there, taking calls for 8 hours straight, being told that, you suck, you're a fuck up, all that. So, I mean, that's pretty much that, But now, fast forward to now, it's like I'm living the dream, so to speak. I'm not just saying, oh, yeah, living the dream. No. I'm really living it. I mean, I'm doing my dream job right now. I mean, I'm making content for a living. I set my own hours. I do my own, like, I can go on vacation if I want to go on vacation. I don't have to ask anybody, And so it's been really cool. And obviously, for those of you who are listening, you're the diehards. So without you guys, it's not where it is today. But going back to what I'm saying, I had a great time at MetLife Stadium. A lot of you flagged me down for pictures and just wanted to talk. And man, it was just such a nice experience. It really was. Really cool stuff. And at the time, it was like, I want to say it was surreal. But I think we're there, guys. I really do. I think we're about to take off this year. I think we already are starting to take off. And I got to get used to the fan hate. And I'll be honest with you, from person to person, I have struggled with it. Truly. Early on, I struggled with it. I was bullied a ton in school. But I've grown up and I've gotten better with handling it. But God didn't make a rule book or a handbook on how to deal with people saying terrible things about your family, your dog, your friends, your appearance, whatever, right? So you get over it. I guess just kind of moving forward here, I guess I don't really know why the Lions fans are so toxic. And I mean, they are just absolute fucking assholes. And I don't mean everybody. But I mean, it's not great. It's not great. They were the team I was like, okay, they're going to, I had them be in the Rams before the season. I'm thinking, wow, they're going to be really cool. They'll be easy to root for. Even if it happens, like, I'll be pulling for Jared Goff and the Lions. I honestly, after that game, no way. I don't want any of those fans to be happy. I mean, I have Lions friends. Like, I have, friends that are fans of the Lions that I am happy for. But because of the herd that I'm dealing with, that I've seen, the way they've reacted, which is, by the way, more negative after winning than the Bengals did after losing the Super Bowl, Bengals fans. So the way they've acted has just really turned me off. It's turned a lot of people off. It's turned off people that I've talked to that are with the Rams in the organization or whatever. I mean, it's just, it's not great. Not great. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess people just get really, really into it. I'm about as big of a sports fan as it gets. To see people turn their back on Stafford the way they did, you can say it's just this playoff game. We'll give him a nice standing O and all that, in the regular season. It's like, yeah, after you got what you wanted. I saw there was a tweet that said, Jared Goff's success erased everything Matthew Stafford did, and I'm here for it. All right. And that doesn't sound like a fan base that I want to ever support, ever. You guys ever see that? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the meme with Walter White in the vehicle after he's been detained and he's screaming out of the window. And truthfully, I've never seen Breaking Bad outside of the first episode, so I probably need to get on that. But it's funny because I just keep thinking about that, like, as soon as the Tampa Bay Bucks game and Eagles game is up, just looking at the tight end, making a comment like, watch out for the knees. Kirby's coming. Like, watch out for Kirby, because that Kirby Joseph, man. You take out one guy, you take out his ACL. It can be dirty, but it's by accident. It's not by accident if you do it twice in a month. If you ruin, you end two guys' seasons and twice in a month, that you're just a dirty player. That's the way it is. So sorry, Kirby, you're dirty. Speaking of which, I feel bad for Higbee. I feel bad for everybody that was targeted in this game, whether it was in the head or the knee. It was clear, obvious. But I wanted to open up the show really just kind of getting it off my chest, because this is my medium and, this is extra content. And I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, when are you going to do a podcast? When are you going to do an audio podcast that's just different? And this is different. You don't really hear me in this light. I mean, I guess to a degree you do, but this is definitely different. And I could be doing these every day. So get ready, buckle up. But yeah, I just think kind of putting a bow on the NFL content, not the content, but kind of putting a bow on the NFL topic at hand, I guess. The NFL has a serious officiating problem. And I mean, I don't need to go into Craig Rolstad any longer. I talked way too much about him. Everyone knows where I stand. 3-7 the Rams are when, they face him, but he's not great, but there are a lot of referees that are just bad. They let teams play it out when they shouldn't, and they let egregious shit go. And to me, you let the ticky-tack shit go. That's the point of the playoffs, is that we're no longer calling the ticky-tack stuff. But I'm sorry, committing practical manslaughter on the field to a quarterback after he threw the ball, that's a roughing call. Going helmet to helmet is a helmet to helmet penalty. Holding guys when they're trying to go up for the, to make the catch is a pass interference call. Just as simple as that. And for the Lions fans listening, look, appreciate you giving me a free listen. If you feel at any point that you're offended by what I said, well, here's what it is. I don't really care. This is my show. So anyway, let's move on. So now with that, just all sorts of content I got planned for the off season, but I'm just thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about 2024, thinking about what to look forward to. You ever feel that way after like something that you were really hyped up about, you couldn't wait for, and then ends up being disappointing, like say a football game? Do you ever just go ahead and you're like, man, I can't wait for 2024, this, and this, right? Well, I was thinking about it, and I don't know of any albums that my favorite bands are going to be releasing anytime soon. So hopefully that comes out, but I'm a little concerned there. The MCU, which if you guys know me, I'm a huge Marvel nerd. I mean, Deadpool in July, I want to say. The way they keep postponing everything, who the hell knows? But Deadpool in July is something I'm looking forward to. Some video games, Avowed. I did just get an Xbox not long ago, so looking forward to that. But yeah, it's just, I think it's always the best way to kind of, quote unquote, cope. I love how now the idea to cope is considered a bad thing, right? I mean, it's so funny. You get this like younger audience and they're all like, oh, cope. Well, yeah, I got to cope with the loss. Oh, he's coping. Yeah, that's what happens. You have to just actually, process and just receive the information as it is and realize this is reality. So I think a big coping mechanism, at least for me after something like this, is to kind of just, make a mental note, make a mental list of things to look forward to, Like I look forward to next year going to the SoFi Stadium, seeing everyone, Deadpool, like I said, some concerts. I haven't been to a concert in a while. I don't even remember the last one I went to. Maybe it was Fall Out Boy. Might have been September. I don't even know. But yeah, it's just, again, it sucks. But I gotta say, guys, this is really, really fun. Being able to make content, being able to literally stare into a camera and know that, hey, I'm reaching a bunch of people right here, right now, and I can make money doing it. And it's not so much the money, but it's actually more so the fact that, look, I'm enjoying this. I'm helping other people, create some entertainment for them. And in addition to that, you're telling me I'm making money to the point where I don't have to have another full-time job. That's a win. That is a win. So what comes next, man? I mean, you got March Madness in March. Obviously, what other freaking month would it be in? That was a Nimrod comment. But yeah, you got March Madness coming up. The NBA, I don't know if you guys have been watching. I've had a hard time getting into the NBA personally. I've had a wicked hard time getting into the NBA. Like, you wouldn't believe. I just, and I'm an NBA fan to a degree. I love professional basketball. Obviously big Laker fan. But I don't know, man. It's not as interesting to me anymore. I mean, then again, I kind of went through this whole thing and I said it on one of the JE lives that I did. I was like, look, I'm not really into like sports games anymore. I don't know what that means, but I'm really not. Like, I don't really care. It's kind of funny. Like, my childhood was sports games. But I think when you play like almost every single scenario, you know, been there, done that with the dynasty mode or the franchise mode or the create a player mode. Oh, I've had a quadruple double before, or, you know, I signed that quarterback who ended up winning MVP. I mean, it gets kind of old, it gets predictable. And right now I feel like the NBA is just kind of like, you know, it's no different. I'm just kind of like over it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into it. I am going to be doing a baseball podcast, a Yankees podcast to be exact. So I'll be getting more into that. Looking forward to that. More of a show, like not just an audio, but, you know, also video. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, if you're in the NBA, God bless you, because I have not been able to get into it this year. NHL, I've had a hard time. I have 2 teams. You can bully me all you want in the comments section. Okay. Fact of the matter is I have 2 teams. I like the Vegas Golden Knights and I like the New Jersey Devils. Why? It just worked out that way. I chose the Knights after leaving the Red Wings. The Red Wings traded away all my favorite players. Their GM at the time, Ken Holland, was a complete disaster. And I jumped on a bandwagon that didn't exist with the Golden Knights. Then why did I get into the Devils, you ask? Well, I started going to Devils games. My friend Kyle took me. And so when I started going to Devils games, I became a fan of the Devils. First ever game was against both teams. My favorite player had a hat trick. And I was like, okay, this is going to stick. I'm really into NHL. But yeah, I mean, just not really a ton to look forward to. It's not bad, but yeah, this sucks, man. First episode, and like I said, oh, it's going to be so different. We're pretty much all talking about the Rams. But hey, look, that's a big part of me, you know, but I like other things. And one thing I got to say, for those of you who are here for the movie aspect of it, I'll just say this, okay? 2024, so far, I've watched a few movies. I've watched 6 to be exact. I watched Saltburn, which, man, that is wild. Not a family movie. So if you have kids, don't ask them to watch it with you. But it's a fun movie. It's wild. It's raunchy, so be aware of that. But you know, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I know some other people didn't. I don't know. I would I recommend it? Absolutely. Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike, and you know, you got Richard E. Grant. I mean, there are definitely people in this, you know, film that you. Yeah, I mean, this is a good cast altogether. So, yeah, I'd give it a shot. I mean, again, just know it's dirty, it's raunchy, it's not. But I would give it a shot. I did get a chance to watch that. I actually watched it. I do movie nights with my co-host Alexis on Downtown Rams, and I do movie nights with her every now and then. We'll just watch a movie, and Saltburn was one of the ones we decided to watch together. And we don't live near each other, so it's one of those things, you know. But the second movie I've seen in 2024, the second best movie, I'm going to put this in order, Reservoir Dogs. If you guys have never seen that before, wow. Really good stuff, connected to, you know, obviously the cult classic Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino films. They just have this style that I just can't really put my finger on, but you can just tell if it's a Tarantino film. And it always has this like incredibly gory fight scene for like no reason. And I guess that's like his shtick. And I found that to be really funny, personally. Found that to be very funny. But yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I thought he did a great job. So I've been a fan of his. That was actually my first movie I've ever seen from him. Still have plenty on the list. I'll get to them now that, the workload will go down a little bit right before the draft season. So, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Reservoir Dogs, I was really into that. And I mean, the cast is so good. Like Tarantino got Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen. Of course, Michael Madsen's in most of his stuff, it feels like. Steve Buscemi, Chris Penn. Like, it was definitely, I would recommend it if you haven't already. And I know a lot of people love that movie. It's an older movie. It's not anything new, but for me, I'm trying to watch all these movies. Like, I'm trying to watch the 1930s movies, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and so forth. So I'm just kind of a movie, I don't know. I'm very fascinated by them. I know I have a Michael Myers mask in the back corner of my setup if you guys watch my videos. However, while I'm a huge horror fan, I don't only watch horror movies. Number 3 this year, Kill Bill Volume 1. I gotta tell you, Uma Thurman is awesome. Okay, absolutely awesome. It's another one of those Quentin Tarantino masterclasses. It is female John Wick with a sword. If you haven't watched it, I finally got around to doing it. People have been asking me for so long. They're like, "Hey, have you seen Kill Bill?" I'm like, "What the hell's Kill Bill?" Like, just see it. I was like, "Okay." Uma Thurman kicks ass. She's so fun to watch, and I thought she absolutely stole the show. She was great as Beatrix. Beatrix Kiddo was her name, but just such a great movie. Definitely recommend it if you're into more of the action stuff. Kill Bill Volume 2 is also really good. Really nice conclusion. Just know you're not wasting your time. This stuff's really cool. Just definitely some great stuff there. So if you're interested in any of that, action-packed stuff, definitely check that out, because I'll tell you right now, a lot of fun. 5th movie of the year so far, because I've only watched 6. Extraction with Chris Hemsworth. First off, love Chris Hemsworth, okay? Hemsworth, to me, is so perfect in this role as Tyler Rake, and I thought he just did a great job. Now, Extraction, it's a little interesting because he has to go into Baghdad and he has to rescue this kid, and there's just these crime lords and whatnot. So, I mean, it is what it is. He's extracting the kid from the area, but it doesn't go the way that you think. There's some things that happen, and I know there's a second one. I've yet to see it. But I would recommend every movie I've said so far except for the last one. And guys, I might title it this, because you know what? I might title the episode this because it is so bold, it might get people to click on it. I don't know. It's a love-hate for me. I don't like Blade Runner. I'm not afraid to admit it. I think it's one of the most boring films I've watched. For people that know me, I am very, I'll just say this. I'm very positive when it comes to reviewing movies. I like most movies people hate. I love most movies people don't really care for. That's really what it comes down to. It's just the way it's always worked out. I really have a hard time hating on a film because I realize, the effort they put into it, and I just respect it for what it is. But man, I got to tell you, Blade Runner, great visuals. It's on the level of like Avatar, for its time. Obviously, this was 1982. But Ridley Scott created a boring ass movie. Can I just say that? I mean, I understand there are going to be people listening to this that might even turn this off because there's such an affinity and such an appreciation for Blade Runner. And look, my thing is Harrison Ford's in it, okay? I don't know how the hell you managed to fuck up a movie with Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford, an action movie called Blade Runner, never has any blades in it, for the record. That's a joke, of course. I understand why. But, it's based on dystopian Los Angeles, cyberpunk era, all of that. And it set the tone. It's like the godfather of the genre of cyberpunk. And I get that. And there's a lot of, influences and everything, but holy fucking shit. Ridley Scott put me to sleep. Like this, I'm not kidding you. This movie was so boring, and the ending was so stupid. I don't think I missed it either. Like, I understood the point they were trying to make, but I just really did not care for it. Now, people, some of you listening to this might be like, all right, stop this. Understand this. If you like Dune, for instance, the movie Dune that came out 2 years ago, I did not. I don't like slow burns. I'm not trying to sit there and watch a quote-unquote action movie for 2 hours until it gets good for the final 20 minutes of the final act. And when it got good, quote-unquote, at the end, I mean, it didn't even feel like it got good. Like, I was like, all right, can this end? I'm ready to just log this, and move on from it. So, yeah, I'm not a Blade Runner fan. Let's just put it that way. I'm so bummed. I had such high hopes for it. I remember texting Alexis during the movie, like, what the hell? I told her, I was like, this movie is going to be awesome. I have such high hopes. I did not like it. So that brings me to my 2023 movies that I watched. And I gotta say, the best movie of 2023, in my opinion, that came out in 2023 was Oppenheimer. If you guys haven't seen it, I already did a video of it on my YouTube channel, reviewing it. So great. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, thought that was fantastic. Guys, I really liked Rebel Moon. I know Zack Snyder has some sort of stigma, attached to him. Like, oh, he's one of the Snyder bros. He's a cultist. I'm not into all that, okay? I'm not. But Zack Snyder cooked with Rebel Moon. He created his own space opera. Well, it's a Star Wars ripoff. I don't think so. I mean, there's got to be an influence, So I liked that. I finally mission accomplished for 2023. Saw all of the Mission Impossible movies. Mission. That was great. Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's character, just outstanding. Jeremy Renner's in it. I mean, Maggie Q is in it. I mean, so many different actors and actresses are in it. Ving Rhames, he plays the guy whose name is totally escaping me in Pulp Fiction, but Ving Rhames is in it. Simon Pegg is great. Rebecca Ferguson's great. Vanessa Kirby's great. Palm, I forget her name, but she plays Mantis. Haley Atwell, obviously we know who Haley Atwell is. So yeah, definitely enjoyed that series. John Wick 4, man, if they don't make another John Wick 4 was fire. Scream 6, loved that. I thought Melissa Barrera was great. I'm sad about Scream 7, and probably if it does come out, it won't be the same. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was really cool. Totally Killer was cool. Ghosted I really liked. Creed 3, Quantumania was solid. Evil Dead Rise was kind of wild, but I enjoyed it. The Marvels wasn't bad. Leave the World Behind, The Mother, and then there's some other ones that kind of are in there. I thought Barbie was all right. I think I'll say I liked it. It just didn't rank as high. But last year was such a cool year for me because I finally started getting in these old films that people were just like, oh, you got to see this. Like, you've never seen Goodfellas? Goodfellas is so good. I mean, it is the reason why, like, you have these video games, these mob video games, and these different storylines they have. They're based on a Goodfellas. They're based on, a Godfather, something like that. I've never actually seen The Godfather, so that I will be seeing, and I'll get back to you on my thoughts on that. But yeah, I saw King of Comedy. I went heavy with the Scorsese films and, of course, Mission Impossible films. Donnie Brasco was great. I thought Johnny Depp was awesome. And, of course, Al Pacino. Love Al Pacino. I did see Southpaw, one of the saddest boxing movies you will ever watch, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Rachel McAdams and Forrest Whitaker. Definitely recommend checking that out because, I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. It's very sad, but I just thought it was a great movie. I also watched Pulp Fiction last year for the first time. Prisoners was just crazy. Shutter Island was crazy. Army of the Dead I really enjoyed. So yeah, a lot of different movies. I even saw Detective Pikachu last year. Thought that was really cool. The live action live action Pokemon. That was pretty cool. But yeah, just talking, about the movies that I've seen, and just you guys, of course, in the comment section, or if you ever want to at me or whatever reason on social media and let me know, hey, watch this movie. I think you'd like this. Go right ahead. I'm down. I'm making a list, and I always keep it, updated. So I'm always down for more movies and stuff. But yeah, I mean, guys, this was never going to be a huge first episode, but I did want to just chat a little bit with you. I'll get the hang of it. This is new for me. I've done podcasts before, but mainly podcasts that have another person, somebody to bounce off of. If not, just it's been like a solo video. It's been an isolated video. For this, I'm really just going off the cuff. I'm going off the top of my head. I'm talking about things that are currently on my mind. Movies are on my mind, okay? Another thing that's on my mind, Echo finally got released. I saw the first 2 episodes, pretty damn good. And Reacher, which I got to catch up on. But Reacher 2, I think, Reacher Season 2 has almost everything out. I saw Season 1, loved it. I think Alan Ritchson's great. If you don't know who he is, Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, look him up. Great. But yeah, I mean, I've been more committed to lately trying to watch movies and TV shows I haven't seen over playing video games. But I'm not against video games, obviously, and I do obviously play video games on Kick and stream and whatnot. But yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be fun continuing this show. Will it be 30 minutes? Will it be an hour? I think it'll vary, but nonetheless, thank you for listening to my ranting. This is episode 1 of the Jake Ellenbogen Show, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, folks. Take care.